Yo Rana, and welcome back to FM Tahiti, a little bit earlier than I'd originally planned. If I just show you the schedule briefly. Last time you'll have watched was when we drew the shellfish and got dumped out of the cup, essentially. I kind of carried on, tried to finish off the transfer window, and I'll show you in a second. Finally managed to get in for that. Then I played Tahuata Madre de Dios, beat them 2-1, completely undeserved. Sam Richards got sent off again, didn't deserve to win, but managed to scrape it, which has left us currently, it's taken a while, currently top of the table, but again, Teteroa have also got the game in hand. And they're only a point behind, so they'll leapfrog us fairly easily, I think. The reason why I'm back a little bit earlier than planned, because I was just going to play one more match and then come back for the next two, is because it's Youth Intake Day. Not only is it Youth Intake Day, but we've got the awesome, I say awesome, I'd hold on for a second. We've got the promising message of Whisper It Quietly. This could be a so-called golden generation, with Stuart Spearling, the diamond, and a very strong group of players. He also thinks he may have had noticeable influence on Ahmed Smith. A couple of things to bear in mind here before I show you the players, because I'm going to show you the players, pause, come back, we'll play a match. Maybe if we get some of the new players in, you'll be able to see them have their debuts. First of all, we've got a head of youth development, but he's not very good. And his personality is unambitious, so the fact he's had a notable influence on Ahmed Smith, to me says he's not going to be very ambitious. I don't think he's a good person to be having an influence on players. The next thing to bear in mind is that whilst they might say it's a so-called golden generation, they have no point of comparison, because there have been no youth players to come through at all at any point. There is nothing to compare them against. They are by default the best generation of players we have ever had until next year. There's nothing to compare them against. I don't know if FM takes that into account, but it's kind of saying, well, actually these are better or worse on average than previous years, therefore they are a golden generation. If it's doing that, then that's why we've got this message, because if you're comparing it to zero, they've got to be good. But I'll show you them. You can judge them. We'll go to the candidate team. So I've got to put my FM Tahiti view on so you can see what the assistant manager thinks. Stuart Spearling is the one they think is the best, and they think he's already, basically to me this suggests he is a shoo-in for the first team. He plays as an attacking midfielder. He is unambitious, just like our head of youth development, as is Ahmed Smith, who was influenced by the head of youth development. He's unambitious too. But if we look at Stuart Spearling, this is what we get. So attacking midfield is his best position, although he can play a bit further back, which is probably where we'll end up playing him. And he actually looks quite good. For our level, this stage in the game, he looks decent. So physically, he doesn't necessarily look great, but 10 stamina, pace and agility, acceleration's 8. He's not very strong, but he is like 16, so fair enough. These all get better quite reasonably, so that's not bad. He's also got player trait, comes deep to get the ball, which is kind of good, because I'm going to be playing him deeper anyway. Don't know if the two will cancel each other out or not, but that's okay. Mentally, good decisions, good flair, good teamwork, good work rate. His determination and vision are low, as is his concentration, composure. But he's got a few stats that are there are a few attributes that are up there. And if we look at his technical attributes here, good first touch, good free kick taker, passing's okay, about average for the team. Good technique. He will do the job, and we can not necessarily build around him, but he will give the two Narans and Leclerc good amount of competition in midfield, even though he's not quite the right position. We'll just have to train him a little bit. What I will do then is, because they reckon in terms of their potential are all fantastic, I'll just sort by current abilities. So Stuart Spearling, unambitious, but he's the best bad lot, potentially. What we've got next is, that's my phone going off. Get rid of that. Got Darren Lee, also an attacking midfielder. He's the next best as far as they're concerned. He can play up front a little bit as well, but still AMC. Technical attributes, not fantastic. Mental attributes, good determination and leadership and work rate, not much else. Physically, his attributes are quite good. So I'll probably keep him. I mean, I say probably going to keep him. All of the players who are coming through I'm going to give a contract to, because the more we sign, the bigger the pool is for the Austral Islands nationally or internationally. So he's okay. He'll come on, he'll do a bit part for a while, and we'll see how he develops. Then we've got Ahmed Smith, the goalkeeper, and we needed a backup goalkeeper, and he looks fine. He might be unambitious, but good reflexes, handling and aerial reach, good determination, bravery and aggression, good positioning. Physical stats here and there are okay. I mean, not amazing for agility, but okay. A worrying player trait in that he tries to play his way out of trouble. So his eccentricity is 1, but he still tries to play his way out of trouble. He's going to be back up, I think. I don't want to throw a 15-year-old straight into starting as a goalkeeper anyway. Glenn Palanthorpe. Again, mental attributes pretty good. Physical ones not terrible. Technical aren't currently that promising, but we need more depth, so we've got depth. Scott Jones is another keeper. Yeah. Brent McCoy, right back, where we need a bit of cover anyway. Physically okay. That's about it for the moment. Phil Lamb, who plays either side, will be good cover potentially if he wasn't rubbish. So yeah, he's good work rate and teamwork, but that's about it, isn't it? But again, they're all young. They could develop quite nicely as they go along. Phil Douglas on the left, who's resolute. Physically good. Good determination, leadership. Technically not amazing, but he could be a good impact sub every now and again for that left-hand side. He's much better than... I can't remember the name of the guy we had before. Got rid of. Sent him off to Mahisha. I've got Matthew Bolt, who's fairly professional, who likes to curl the ball, but he's a defender. No-nonsense centre-back who curls the ball. I think FM may have got something messed up here. He's fairly professional though, which means, as far as I'm concerned, he's going to go not directly into the first team, but he'll be on the fringes of the first team, because he's got 6, 8 and a 3. 3's bad, to be fair, but yeah, 16. Physically he's quite good. Good determination, aggression. Because he's fairly professional, I think he'll improve quite well. Those who are fairly professional tend to train better than those who aren't. Curls ball, still weird, but we'll give him a go. He's 6'2". His strength's decent for a 16-year-old. So Matthew Bolt, try and get in. Nick Higgins, he's alright. I mean, he's better than a lot of people I was trying to buy for cover, so that's okay. Nick Easthope, 6 foot. We've got a lot of tall players. Physically okay, good technique, not much else. But again, cover. Ryan Smith, good physically, teamwork, good work rate. Still not great technically, but again, it's more cover. These are all players who could come in, and I think a lot of them would be able to play in the first team. We might be playing as well as we would do with them in, but they could do it. I don't think we'd get relegated with them or anything like this. Sam Jones got good crossing, some okay mental stats, mental attributes. Not great physically. Bit small, 5'2". Frank Dean is our striker who's come through. Good acceleration, balance, pace and agility. That's about it. Finishing 5, composure 8, heading 4. He doesn't really fit the kind of clinical striker role. Michael Wallace, who's fairly determined, is another striker, 6-footer. Physically interesting. Still not great at finishing composure. We can play the positions we want. And Sam Kennelly, again a little bit disappointing, but good passing potentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer a contract to all of these players. Spearling, Lee, Ahmed, Bolt, and Phil Douglas and Wallace. I'll probably call up to the first team, but have them still playing in the 23s as well to get a little bit of experience. But they're the ones I think I'm going to use to bolster the squad. Brent McCloy maybe. But yeah, bring them in, see if I can get them integrated into the squad for the last few games. If you look at the schedule here, let's put a couple of friendlies in because we've got such a big gap. This is where cup games would be playing if we hadn't been knocked out of both the cups. We've only got 2 league games in March, 2 in April, 2 in May, so I'll sign them all up, play these friendlies and come back for the Union Rematara game. And that will probably be it for this episode. We've got the youth intake. Then I'll play Puka Puka, and then I'll do an episode for this, an episode for this. That'll be the final bit, and we'll track how things go. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so we've moved along to the match against Union Rematara, our rivals. We've played them 3 times this season, beaten them 3 times. That was raised in the sort of press conference just beforehand, so I absolutely trashed the manager in it. Said we had the upper hand, it counted for something, and so on. It's meant to be a pretty important match, so we've almost got a sellout of it. Well, I say they've almost got a sellout of the Independent Steady On at Rematara, so they've almost got full capacity. Signed up most of those youth players, and as you can see in the table, it's pretty much neck and neck now. So Tetero played their game in hand, drew it, so they're now on 44 points with us, but they've got a better goal difference. They've got a better record against us as well as it stands. So it's all to play for. Let's go down to the wire, and we have choices to make now. This other player that I managed to get in the transfer window that I forgot to mention last time is Marvin Salaberry. So I did mention that we were looking to sign him. We got him. Not amazing, but not terrible. Kind of wish we hadn't got him now because we do have a youth player who could potentially do the job. So, a few players to come on. Look at this, now we can actually, not only can we fill a bench, but we're going to leave people out. That's the stage we've got to. So Spearling, who's meant to be one of our best youth products, can come straight into the side, give him a chance. On the left, I'm going to put another one of our youth products, Douglas. It's meant to be quite good. Just because Dubois is more of a striker, I'd rather have him play as a striker than play on the left, and Richards is obviously suspended, as is Leclerc, because they can't control themselves. They are violent people. Naran can go on the bench. Can also potentially put Bolt, or do we want Wallace? Let's put Wallace on the bench. It's one of the youth strikers. They've got reasonable coverage across the pitch then. Do kind of want to get Bolt on if I can at some point, but maybe not this match. Let's see how Salaberry does, because he got 7.2 last time. Right, let's see how they do. Terribly, aren't they now? I've got high hopes for Spearling. At the very least, Spearling should be good. Don't think the rest of the golden generation is particularly golden. Or copper, is what we're looking at there. Yeah, so Tetero don't play until after us. Don't care. Don't know if it does have any kind of psychological effect in the game, but Salaberry. I quite like Salaberry's name. Spearling. Oh, it cuts away before we could see him kick it. We assume that was an amazing pass. problem with Spearling is he's not a central midfielder, he's a central attacking midfielder. Ooh, interesting free kick. I think he's meant to be reasonably good at free kicks, so hopefully he'll bag a couple. But yeah, Spearling's meant to be more of an attacking midfielder, but he does have the trait comes deep. And I'm playing him as in the box-to-box role, so he will be getting forward as well if he needs to. So it's closer to his role. Interesting tackle, didn't actually get it, but got the interception by mistake. When my assistant manager did the kind of review of the youth intake afterwards, so when he tries to tell you who he's going to recommend that you offer a contract to, he said he couldn't recommend any of the players. I don't know if that's just because I beat him to it and offered all the contracts out, so there's nobody left for him to try and persuade me about, or whether he just genuinely thinks they're all rubbish. He should be a better judge of players than he was before, because he's finished his first coaching badge as well, so our backroom's getting a little bit more experienced. This was a dull first half, wasn't it? It's like 3 highlights. 4 if you include this one now. Spearling. It's a bad ball, to be honest. Oh, Chadwick. So their player has just put that quite nice ball in. It's called John O. Chadwick. And aside from having quite a good name, as a player he looks alright. So I wanted to try and sign him, but he just wanted something like £400 per week. The most I could try and get him down to is about $320 or something like that. That's just too much. They would have let me do it. I think the board would have let me pay him that, but he wasn't worth that. Still win this. Phil Douglas believes. Leave it like that for the moment. So all the other teams should have had their youth intakes as well. Hamish Dean scoring against Hamish Bennett. So yeah, they should all have their youth intakes too. I resisted the urge to try and butch some of the players. Partly because I want them to prove and do well, generally across the board, but also because I think FM19 is different from, say, FM17 before, where you could just go in and steal them before they signed. It's set up now so the team they enter automatically gets kind of first dibs at getting that contract in. So if you try and get them, they either say, no, I've just signed a new contract, or the compensation's huge. You're not threatened at all. What should we do? Salaberry cleared it out, so he's doing okay. I've actually got choice on the bench. I don't know what to do. Oh, terrible free kick. Okay, let's bring Waite on for Manuel after that. Not because of that free kick, just to give him a bit of a rest. Florian. Come for Williamson. Florian is still yet to score for us. Yeah, we'll leave that for the moment. Should I place focus on short passes? No, it's not long ball, is it? Go on, Douglas. New player, clattered. At least he was getting ready to run at them. Wait, gets in. Dubois scores his first. 19th of the season, but his first for us. Good delivery. Not challenged at all by the defender. That's sloppy defending. Apparently we moved back up to first. I've not been keeping an eye on what the latest scores are, actually. I'm trying to live by the principle of all I can do is beat what's in front of me. Look after my own matches rather than worrying about theirs. Let's bring someone else on. Let's bring Jordan Aaron on to give Spearling a rest, because he's a newbie. Spearling has been quiet. He has also not embarrassed himself completely. Oh no, Douglas is injured. Douglas has been okay. Again, relatively quiet, but at least has tried to run at them and do something. I think a draw might be fair. They're probably a little bit better than us, but not massively. That looked like it was going to be a penalty against us for a second. Okay, 1-1. 1-1 we can accept. Let's have a look at the other scores before we finish. We'll tell them we should have won, because we should have won. We normally win. Oh, so Teterow have got a game in hand on us again. It was just us playing. I didn't notice that. So they've got another opportunity to go ahead. Oh yeah, news item said they were going to play slightly later on. Never mind. We'll end there. So you've seen the youth intake. You've seen the future of the humpbacks. The future is not necessarily bright. It's not pitch black either. And we'll come back for the next 2 matches. Thanks very much.